You are listening to Embracing the Unknown. Book 7 of Iron Rule Collection, written by Akumah and voiceover by Sara. Akumah Audiobooks. Chapter 1, The Big Announcement. The rhythmic ping of the game echoed in Jackson's ears, a hypnotic beat that drowned out the world. He was on the brink of victory, his fingers dancing across the keyboard, when a discordant note intruded, his parents' voices, rising from the floor below. He could hear the familiar lilt of his mom's laughter, the deep rumble of his dad's chuckles, but they were distant, muffled, like a radio signal slipping in and out of range. The screen flickered, then went dark. A surge of frustration coursed through him. He pounded the laptop's side, a futile gesture against the dead pixels. His Wi-Fi signal, a fickle ally, had betrayed him. A groan escaped his lips as he shot up from his chair, ready to confront the culprit, his unreliable internet connection. Descending the stairs, 2 at a time, he was primed for battle. But the sight that greeted him in the kitchen halted his advance. His parents sat across from each other, their gazes locked on him, their expressions a mix of anticipation and something else he couldn't quite place. "What?" he demanded, his annoyance still simmering. His mom's voice, usually so comforting, now held an edge of uncertainty. "Jax, we need to talk," she began, her gaze fixed on him. She gestured to the empty chair between them, and he plopped down, a sense of unease creeping over him. His dad cleared his throat, his expression a mix of excitement and nervousness. "There's something we want to tell you," he started, his voice deep and deliberate. "It's a big change, but we think it's a really good one." A knot tightened in Jackson's stomach. His dad's idea of good often meant something he'd dread. "Okay, spit it out," he muttered. "Your dad's been offered a project with MacArthur Developments," his mom explained, her voice filled with a strange enthusiasm. "It's to restore the Ridgewood Hotel, one of the oldest buildings in the state. They want to turn it into a high-end, vintage retreat. It's a dream job for him, Jax." Jackson's confusion deepened. "Ridgewood? Where's that? And what does that have to do with us?" he asked, his voice laced with disbelief. His mom's hand squeezed his arm, a feeble attempt at comfort. "It's about 4 hours away, in a small town called Ridgewood," she explained, her voice soft. "We thought it would be best for the whole family to move there while your dad oversees the project." Jackson's eyes widened, his voice rising. "Move there," he echoed, disbelief coloring his tone. He scanned his mom's face, searching for any sign of a joke, but she only smiled that infuriatingly gentle smile. "You want me to leave everything? School, Alec, my tech club?" Panic started to set in as he realized the magnitude of the change. "And for how long?" His dad cleared his throat, a hesitant look crossing his face. "Well, it depends on the project. Maybe a year, maybe more." Jackson shot up from his chair, anger boiling within him. "This isn't fair. You can't just decide this without asking me," he shouted, his voice echoing through the kitchen. His mom's frown deepened, her patience wearing thin. "Jax, we're not doing this for fun. This is a major opportunity for your dad's career. Ridgewood is a beautiful town, with plenty to offer. You'll have new experiences, new friends." Jackson scoffed. "I don't want new experiences. I have everything I need right here," he retorted, his voice rising. Frustration bubbled up inside him as he looked at his parents, who seemed oblivious to his distress. Ridgewood sounded like some backwater town where people went to bed at sunset and wore their Sunday best every day. His dad's voice cut through his thoughts. "Jackson, we understand this is tough, but moving is a part of life. I've moved around a lot, and it always worked out fine," he said, his tone firm. Jackson bit his lip, knowing the battle was lost. His dad's determined look, coupled with his mom's unwavering resolve, made it clear that this was non-negotiable. The thought of leaving his friends, his tech club, and his beloved room filled with gadgets and books was unbearable. A wave of dread washed over him as he realized that his familiar world was about to be shattered. "What am I supposed to do there?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper. His mom offered a weak smile. There's a high school, with clubs and sports. You'll find something you like. Jackson scoffed. Like cow tipping? His dad sighed, a look of weariness crossing his face. Ridgewood is a historical town, Jax. There's more to it than you think. And the hotel, it's a unique project. You might even enjoy exploring it. You've always been curious. Jackson rolled his eyes. So, I'm supposed to spend my time wandering around a creepy old hotel? His dad chuckled. Maybe. Who knows what you might find? Jackson snorted. Yeah, like ghosts? His dad chuckled again. Well, the place is old enough. There might be a few spirits hanging around. Jackson shook his head, the anger slowly seeping into a mix of dread and resignation. He'd been outmaneuvered, outvoted, and out of options. It was a classic parental ambush, a surprise announcement, no room for debate, and a deadline. And no matter how unfair it felt, he knew he was powerless to stop it. When do we leave? He asked, his voice heavy. In 3 weeks, his mom replied, a hint of apology in her voice. We'll finish up here, then we'll be ready to go. Jackson nodded slowly, rising from the table. Without another word, he turned and trudged up the stairs, a strange emptiness settling in his stomach. Back in his room, he collapsed onto his bed, staring blankly at the ceiling. His sanctuary, once a place of comfort and creativity, now felt like a ticking time bomb, soon to be dismantled and packed away. He couldn't fathom what his new life would be like. Ridgewood, according to his mom, was a charming little town with an authentic feel. In other words, it was probably a place with nothing to do and even fewer people he'd want to talk to. No towering city buildings, no bustling streets, no tech clubs, no friends. Just endless forests, dilapidated houses, and an ancient hotel that his dad was eager to turn into a destination retreat. His phone buzzed on the bedside table, yanking him out of his brooding. It was Alec, his gaming buddy, pinging him, "Bro, where'd you disappear to?" Jackson stared at the screen, his thumb hovering over the keyboard. He could spill the beans, tell Alec about the impending move, the forced uprooting of his life. But the words seemed to stick in his throat. What could he say that wouldn't sound whiny or dramatic? Instead, he typed a simple lie, "Internet's down. Be back soon." He tossed the phone aside and scanned his room, a strange mix of emotions swirling within him. Frustration, anger, and a tinge of sadness battled with a surprising surge of curiosity. He didn't want to leave his life behind, but a tiny part of him wondered what awaited him in this strange place called Ridgewood. A place steeped in history, a place with secrets waiting to be uncovered. As he lay there, the weight of his parents' decision settled upon him. Ridgewood. The Ridgewood Hotel. It sounded like something out of a mystery novel, a place with a past, a place with potential. And as much as he resisted it, he couldn't shake the feeling that this move might be the start of something unexpected, something that could change his life forever. Jackson's world had shifted in one afternoon, leaving him reeling. But somewhere, in the quiet of his room, a seed of curiosity stirred. Akumah Audiobooks. You have reached to the end of the chapter. Click next and continue listening to Akumah Audiobooks. This story consists total of 7 chapters, as such 7 videos. Refer to channel playlist for better experience and sequence.